What's up, guys? I am in week 11 of my 12-week training camp. Next week is peak week. The goal was to weigh in at 77.4 tomorrow morning. Being Friday, I'm recording this on Thursday because I'm flying to Bangkok for Thai fight Muay Thai event with one of our fighters. I'm managing her weight cut. So again, going back, 77.4 was the goal for tomorrow morning, and then manipulate weight 5.4 kilos over the course of next week. Okay, how do we do that? We adjust sodium levels, we manipulate glycogen stores, carbohydrate intake, as well as fiber reduction now, and water loading. So all of these things work together. They're kind of like levers and pulleys and dials and things that we can start moving to manipulate weight loss, where water goes essentially throughout the body. So, when you take that scientific approach, it really sets you up to be as depleted as little in the time that you're going through the weight cutting process. And then just as important as the weight cutting process is the rehydration process, which I'm not going to share with you in this video, but that's something that I'll share with you in next weekend's video when I am going through those final processes before I fight. Hopefully I don't have an opponent yet, so we'll see how things play out in the next week. I've spoken to the coaches at Tiger and said I'll fight MMA. If there's no opponents for MMA, I'll fight Muay Thai. If there's no opponents for Muay Thai, I'll fight boxing. I'm happy to just throw down, get in there, and even if I don't fight, even if there's no opponent, I'm actually not that bothered, because I'm a big proponent of focusing on the process, and that's literally what I've been doing. So I actually had some thoughts in my mind today when I was going to my last sparring session. As I said, I was supposed to spar my last hard training session tomorrow, being Friday afternoon, at Tiger, but a couple of days ago just made a quick decision to fly to Bangkok, help out one of our fighters through the weight cutting process, because she's got the old school Muay Thai mentality of wearing a sweatsuit 4 days out and not eating and drinking and shit like that. So this is a girl with massive talent, huge potential, and I see her going very fucking far in the sport. So I said to her, "Do you trust me?" She said, "Yes, coach, I trust you." I was like, "Okay, cool. So we're going to make some adjustments to the weight cutting process." And the point is, with the athletes, it's not about, right, this is what we're going to do now and completely change everything. I need to see what she does, and I've watched what she's done before, and now it's just all right, cool, let's make some minor adjustments, just tweak a few things here and there, because, at the end of the day, stress is a factor when it comes to cutting weight. But because I have the science background, I understand what to expect ahead of time. I know that if I manipulate these things, then I can drop my weight. So, for example, again, I'm recording this on Thursday, the 18th of May. So at the start of this week, on Sunday, I was 80.2 kilos or something like that. Okay, my target was 77.4. I'll come back to that in a moment. But this week, I've adjusted my nutrition. I've loaded up a lot more on carbs this week because my training intensity has been a little bit higher, and I've actually pulled back a little bit on proteins and fats. The reason being is because the carbohydrates are there to support my training. I knew it was going to be high volume, high intensity. Okay, but fats are also very high in energy density. All right, so basically what I'm doing is manipulating my macronutrients intake this week, where my weight's dropped down to 77 kilos. I've already hit my target of 77.4 kilos. I weighed in this morning at 77.9, and then a few hours later, before training, without doing anything, just walking around coaching and stuff like that, I was 77.1. Sorry, it was 77.4 then, and then after training I was 77.1, so I've already hit that target, which means I can be a little bit flexible with my diet over the next couple of days, which is great because obviously I'm traveling, but the next couple of days is literally preparing for the for peak week. Okay, essentially on Sunday, I'm going to start the water load. I'll start that manipulation of sodium, carbohydrates, glycogen depletion, fiber reduction, etc. To bring my weight down to 72 kilos at 9 a.m. or by 9 a.m. on Friday the 26th. That will be, so I'll share that with you guys. Through the week, I'm going to leave you with one of the sparring sessions that I did this week, and I'll provide a little bit of commentary as we go. Let's go. This was Monday, starting week 11. This was a technique class, and this guy just didn't understand how to like use pressure. Was supposed to be doing some drills, but it was either going way too hard or way too light. So it was just easier just to go live with him as a training partner. So we kind of just did go live a little bit, which was cool, but also strange because I've never done ball work before, but it felt pretty natural. So this week in particular has been about putting everything together from the last 11 weeks of training camp, figuring out my style, movement, etc. We actually got in trouble from Joseph, the coach there, because we were going a little bit live in a technique session. But like I said, this dude just was a better training partner going live, so we kind of just played around, rolled with it a little bit. It did get pretty aggressive at points. Now, interesting thing when it comes to sparring, because this is something that I noticed when I was watching these videos back earlier, trying to figure out which ones I was going to put into this video, but I picked these videos because you can kind of see the escalation throughout the work, throughout the round. And it starts off with, just not understanding how to apply the correct amount of pressure. And that's why having a good training partner is so important. I've mentioned it, I think I mentioned it early on in this video series, train up, train across, and train down. So, for example, this was supposed to be a grappling class, like wall work. And he wasn't really getting the technique, so we kind of just went a little bit live on the wall, and then that turned into like him not fucking letting me up. And I was like, alright, if you're not going to let me up, then I'm going to find my way up. And it started escalating a little bit. But I actually enjoyed the training session. Like, I'm not against it at all. I enjoy it because I'm competitive as fuck as well. And for me to learn, like, I want to fight. He wanted to fight next weekend, and he's flying out next week. And I'm supposed to be fighting next weekend as well. This was Wednesday, the technique class at Tiger. I think the last round, I worked down with a guy for most of the class, so didn't really get, I got a lot out of it, but it was more like teaching, what little stuff I know to this newer guy. So it was cool, and then kind of got to test myself against this guy a little bit. So we had a little conversation at the start. Hey man, where are you from? What are you doing here? He's like, oh, I want to fight. I was like, sweet, where are you fighting? And he goes, oh, I want to fight at Beatdown. And I was like, well, we might be opponents. And he's like, well, we're training partners now. And I was like, yeah, but that doesn't mean I'm not going to fight you, bro. So anyway, we kind of like went back and forth, and it was fun. It was playful. I don't know how the coaches like us doing this type of stuff in these classes, but I mean, that's another story. I did go to the pro class once or twice to train with a couple of my fighters as a training partner, and I wasn't allowed to attend the class, even though I've been coaching a client outside of the gym, fair enough, for a couple of years. So those times didn't suit me, unfortunately, which is one of the reasons why I've been training at Fight Club. Another, very good reason. The main reason, though, is so I can build a relationship with the coaches and the athletes at the other gyms, and same with Ben at PGA, Phuket Grappling Academy, so each gym has, incredible coaches and certain aspects of the facility and things like that. So I'm looking to kind of build a team of athletes and a network of athletes at all the different gyms, and then they can use each other as training partners all year round, rather than what normally happens in the space is you'll have a group of guys that are training together, but then once the 2 guys or 3 guys that have fought they've taken a little bit of time off. You can see the guy in the background here filming. He saw something he liked earlier, so he started filming. What was I saying? Anyway, I lost it. I'm out of time for this video, guys. It is 6 o'clock on Thursday night. I'm flying to Bangkok early in the morning, so up at 5 o'clock in the morning. Thought I'd bang this out before I head away for the weekend and manage the weight cut of one of our fighters. Much love. Peace.